we'll explore 10 powerful Stoic strategies to neutralize your enemies without ever engaging in direct conflict. Rooted in ancient philosophy, these methods focus on mastering your emotions, maintaining your integrity, and using wisdom to outmaneuver adversaries. Whether you're facing personal, professional, or social challenges, these Stoic principles will help you rise above the fray and achieve victory through inner strength and resilience. Let's dive into how you can destroy your enemies without lifting a finger, the Stoic way. Number 1. Understand your opponent deeply. In any competitive or hostile situation, like in sports, business, talks, or even personal relationships, it's important to really understand your opponent. You can guess what they'll do next, take advantage of their weaknesses, and come up with methods that give you an edge. If you carefully look at their motivations, strengths, flaws, and patterns of behavior, you can make better choices and increase your chances of success. Do research and gather data. Look at how and what they did in the past. Look at their patterns, skills, and weaknesses. Learn about their fears, goals, and what drives them. Find out what they do well. Figure out what they're good at. Think about how their skills can make things better. Come up with ways to counter their skills. Find out what their weaknesses are. Find the weak spots where they are. Look for holes or inconsistencies in the way they do things. Come up with ways to take advantage of these flaws. Look at their patterns of behavior. Watch what happens when you put pressure on them. Look into how they make decisions. Use what they've done in the past to guess what they'll do next. Figure out what drives them. Find out what moves them, money, power, fame, etc. Find out what their long-term hopes and dreams are. In talks or competition, use what drives them to your advantage. Think about psychological factors. Check out what makes them feel bad and how they react to it. Learn about their ego and fears as well as their psychological profile. Use your knowledge of psychology to affect their choices. Plan for what they will do. Use the knowledge you've gathered to guess what they will do. Prepare for what they are likely to do to stay one step ahead. Change how you talk to them based on how you think they will respond. Make counter strategies. Make plans to counter their skills. Take measured risks to take advantage of their weaknesses. As you learn more about your methods, keep making them better. Keep being adaptable and flexible. Be ready to change how you do things as you learn more. Don't be easy for your opponent to guess. Keep them thinking. When you need to, use the factor of surprise. Develop empathy to see things from their point of view. Try to understand things from their point of view. Use empathy to guess how they will feel and what they will do. Try to find a balance between empathy and plan to get ahead. Number 2. Choose your battles wisely. People often say that life is like a war, where we have to make choices, deal with problems, and fight. However, not every battle is worth winning, and not every argument needs to be settled by going to war. Choosing your battles wisely is a simple but timeless piece of advice that has been passed down from generation to generation. It shows how important it is to be smart, self-controlled, and able to think strategically when dealing with the problems that come up in life. For the most part, picking your battles carefully means knowing when to fight and when to give up. It means putting your energy, time, and resources toward the most important problems and staying away from fights that aren't necessary or aren't important. With this method, you don't have to avoid all conflict. Instead, you just have to be selective and planned about how you deal with problems. You need to have a deep understanding of your ideals, your goals, and the possible outcomes of a battle. Picking the right fights is a skill that can be used in many areas of life, from personal relationships and the workplace to bigger problems facing society as a whole. In our fast-paced world, where we are constantly being flooded with information, views and requests for our attention, this is especially important. Being able to tell which fights are worth fighting can help you live a happier, more focused, and more satisfying life. This idea comes from a few main ideas, such as how important it is to know yourself, how valuable balance is, and how important emotional intelligence is. It also means being aware of how little power you have, and how important it is to take care of your mental and emotional health. We will talk about the idea of picking your battles wisely in this lesson. We will do this by going over a number of things that show how important this idea is and how you can use it in your daily life. By knowing and accepting this idea, you can make better choices, make your relationships stronger, and handle life's challenges with more grace and wisdom. Understanding the idea. Picking your battles carefully means figuring out which ones are worth your time and effort. It means putting important problems ahead of less important ones. This method helps you pay attention to what's important in life. Why being self-aware is important. Self-awareness is important for figuring out what sets you off and when to fight back. Figuring out your morals and long-term goals will help you choose which battles are in line with them. Why it's good to make deals. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to find a middle ground instead of picking a winner or loss. When you choose to settle, things can go better and relationships can get along better. Emotional intelligence. In a conflict situation, emotional intelligence helps you control your feelings and deal with problems in a sensible way. It means understanding how other people feel and reacting with empathy. How much each battle costs. Every fight costs something, whether it's your mind, your body, or your emotions. It is important to think about what might happen and what might happen if you get into a fight. Taking care of your mental and emotional health. Being in fights all the time can cause stress and burnout. When you put your health first, you know when to take a step back and let go of a dispute. How to think strategically. When you think strategically, you weigh the importance and possible effects of a fight before you decide to get involved. You need to be able to think about the big picture and see things in the long run. How to know when to leave. Leaving a fight is sometimes the best thing to do, especially if it's not helping or is damaging. Giving up is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and self-control. What the ego does. It's easy for ego to push us into fights that aren't worth it. To pick your battles carefully, you need to be aware of and control your ego. How silence can help you. When there is a fight, silence can be very helpful. Not reacting or getting involved in a fight is sometimes the best thing to do. What we can learn from past conflicts. When you think about past wars, you can learn a lot about which ones were worth fighting. You can make better choices in the future if you learn from these mistakes. What it does to relationships. Picking the right fights can make your relationships stronger by keeping fights that aren't necessary to a minimum. It shows that you value other people's points of view and helps people understand each other better. Why be patient is important. Being patient is a key virtue for picking the right fights. It gives you time to think carefully about situations before choosing whether to fight or not. Keeping your assertiveness and restraint in check. Being bold doesn't mean getting into every argument. It means standing up for yourself when it counts. To keep your relationships healthy and reach your goals, you need to find a balance between being aggressive and being careful. The advantages in the long run. Picking the right fights will make your life more peaceful and satisfying in the long run. It helps you save your energy for the most important things in life. which makes you healthier generally. Usage in real life. In your daily life, practice judging problems by how important they are and what might happen if you don't solve them. Do yourself a favor and ask yourself if a battle is worth winning before you start it. What this has to do with leadership: leaders who are good at what they do pick their battles wisely and focus on what's most important for their team or company. This method creates a good work environment and pushes people to work together. Thoughts on culture and society. In a larger social context, picking the right fights can help bring about progress and harmony. It means focusing on changes that matter instead of getting caught up in problems that divide people or aren't important. In conclusion, picking the right battles is a skill that you'll need to keep working on because it takes constant self-reflection and growth. You can deal with life's problems more wisely, keep your relationships healthier, and reach your long-term goals with less needless strife if you follow this rule. This lesson shows how important it is to have discernment, emotional intelligence, and the ability to think strategically when dealing with problems. If you learn how to pick your fights wisely and practice it, you can live a more focused, peaceful, and satisfying life. Number 3. Communicate with calm and clarity. It's important to be able to communicate clearly in both personal and business situations. Being calm and clear when you talk to someone makes sure that they understand, cuts down on misunderstandings, and encourages good relations. Controlling your feelings, picking your words carefully, and getting your point across in a way that is both sure of yourself and calm is part of it. This method not only helps you get your point across clearly, but it also helps you gain the trust and respect of others. Stay calm. Before you speak, especially when you're feeling stressed, take a deep breath and stay calm. Being calm helps you think clearly and communicate clearly. Be aware of your tone. The way you say something can change how it is viewed. A tone that is calm and polite is more likely to be liked than one that is angry or stressed. Use simple language. Stay away from jargon and hard-to-understand words. Words that are easy to understand are simple and clear. Organize your thoughts. Take a moment to organize your thoughts before you speak. This keeps you from going on and makes sure your message is short and to the point. Pay attention. Good communication goes both ways. Pay close attention to what the other person is saying. Don't talk over them and answer carefully. Maintain eye contact. Looking someone in the eyes shows that you are interested and confident, which helps you get your point across better. Pause before replying. Taking a short break before you reply gives you a chance to gather your thoughts and make sure your answer is clear and appropriate. Always talk about the same thing. To avoid misunderstanding and stay on track, always talk about the same thing when you talk to someone. Be patient. Give the other person time to talk without cutting them off or talking over them. This will help keep the chat calm and on track. Understand and accept the other person's thoughts and point of view. This is called empathy. This helps people get to know each other and avoids confusion. Clarify and confirm. Once you've given your message, make sure the other person gets it by asking questions or going over important points again. Use non-verbal cues. Nodding and standing with your feet wide apart are examples of body language that can help you communicate more clearly. If you follow these rules, you can improve your conversation skills and make sure that your interactions are not only useful, but also kind and polite. Number 4. Seek the shared path. Seek the shared path stresses how important it is to find things you have in common with other people, whether they are friends, co-workers, or family. The idea helps people understand each other, work together, and set goals that everyone can reach. People and groups can build stronger relationships, solve problems, and achieve success as a whole by focusing on shared hobbies and values. Why common ground is important: helps people understand and accept each other more, focuses on shared hobbies to cut down on disagreements, improves ties by encouraging people to work together. Understanding each other encourages people to talk to each other and listen. It helps you see and value different points of view, helps people understand and accept each other. Working together to solve problems encourages working together as a team, helps people come up with better and more creative ideas, makes sure everyone feels heard and respected. How to set common goals. Aligns the goals of a person or a group with a larger goal. Makes people more motivated and dedicated to the shared goal. Has a higher chance of leading to long-term success. Getting rid of conflicts. Rather than focusing on differences, it seeks to find shared ground. Helps people have quiet and helpful conversations. Helps people come up with ideas that are good for everyone. Making bonds stronger. Gives people a feeling of community and belonging. Supports and encourages ongoing teamwork and cooperation. Helps people make relationships that last and mean something. People and groups can deal with problems better and make the workplace more peaceful and useful by looking for the common road. Number 5. Appeal to their inner values. Getting people to change their decisions and actions by appealing to their deepest values is a strong strategy. People are more likely to believe and follow your message if it is in line with their core views and values. Being aware of and acting on these beliefs can help build trust, make relationships stronger, and motivate people to take action that matters. Know their core values. Figure out what's most important to the person or group you want to change. This could be something like wealth, family, honesty, or loyalty. Personalize your message. Make sure that the way you talk to them matches their beliefs. Show them how your idea or plan fits in with what they care about. Emotional appeals are useful because values are often linked to feelings. Use these feelings by focusing on stories, images, or situations that make them feel strongly about things that are important to them. Build trust. Showing that you agree with or value their beliefs is a good way to do this. It's more possible that people will listen to and follow someone they trust. Draw attention to the benefits. Make it clear how supporting your idea or plan will help them live up to their values. In this way, your idea becomes more appealing. Be real. Being real is very important when trying to get someone to care about your inner ideals. People can usually tell when you're not being honest when you're trying to get their attention. Reinforce shared values. To keep a strong connection with the person or group and keep your message current, keep reinforcing the values you share with them. Respect different values. Know when values are different and show respect for them. Instead of ignoring or rejecting them, find something you have in common with them, or politely point out what makes you different while still making your case. To appeal to someone's inner values, you need to be empathetic, understanding, and honest. When done right, it can have a long effect and lead to good results. Number 6. Employ humor. Effectively in resolving conflicts. People often think of humor as just a way to pass the time, but it can be used for a lot more than that. It can be a very useful way to settle disagreements by lowering tensions, encouraging conversation, and bringing people together who are at odds with each other. When used correctly, humor can turn a heated argument into a more cooperative and helpful conversation. This is because humor has the unique power to change people's minds, break down walls, and make people feel more at ease, which makes it easier for people to approach disagreements with an open mind. When you use humor to solve a problem, you're not making light of important problems or minimizing the concerns of the people involved. Instead, it's about using humor in a smart way to make things more positive so that disagreements can be talked about in a way that doesn't make people feel threatened and encourages teamwork. Laughter can help calm people down, make them less defensive, and help them see each other as friends instead of enemies. Laughter can help people communicate and solve problems better by making them feel like they have something in common and can relate to each other. Also, humor can be a very effective way to change the way you think about a problem. People who are fighting tend to become set in their ways and focus on what they don't agree on instead of what they do agree on. People can get past this stalemate by being amused, which makes them see things from a different angle. A joke or light comment said at the right time can take the attention off of the argument and help people talk in a more helpful way. This might help to calm things down and make it easier to find an answer. But there are some risks that come with using comedy to solve problems. If you don't use humor correctly, it can fail and make things worse. It's important to keep in mind the situation, the type of dispute, and the people involved. When people see humor as sarcastic, mocking, or putting down others, it can make things worse and cause more confusion. Because of this, it is very important to use humor in a way that is polite, includes everyone, and is aware of how everyone feels. During this lesson, we will talk about the different ways that humor can be used to solve problems. Today, we're going to talk about different kinds of humor, the pros and cons of using humor to solve problems, and some useful tips for using humor in conflict settlement. People can improve their ability to handle conflicts in both personal and professional settings by learning how to use humor successfully and understanding its role in conflict resolution. Figuring out how to use humor to solve problems. A sense of humor can help ease stress and make things more pleasant. It can change people's points of view, which makes it easier for people who disagree to have a productive conversation. Laughter can help people who are fighting talk to each other and break down walls. Different kinds of humor for getting along. Affiliative humor is positive, welcoming humor that makes people feel like they belong and are connected. Self-enhancing humor is when you use humor to keep an upbeat attitude even when things are going wrong. Aggressive humor is sarcastic or mocking humor that can make things worse and should be avoided. Self-defeating humor is humor that makes fun of yourself. It can ease stress, but can also weaken authority. Why using humor to solve problems is a good idea. Lowers shields. Laughter can lower people's shields and make them more willing to talk. Builds rapport. Sharing a laugh can make relationships stronger and help people who don't normally trust each other more. Helps people think of new ways to solve problems. Humor can help people think of new ways to solve problems. Arms down. Hostility, a joke told at the right time, can calm people down and keep the dispute from getting worse. Risks of using laughter to solve problems. Misunderstanding. It's easy to get the joke wrong, especially when things are tense. Differences in culture. It's important to be culturally aware because something funny in one culture might be hurtful in another. Not at the right time. Using comedy at the wrong time could be seen as making the problem seem less important. Possibility of escalation. Laughter that is rude or insulting can make things worse and cause more confusion. Here are some tips on how to use humor to solve problems. Know your audience. Make sure you know the personalities and feelings of the people who are involved in the fight. Use positive humor. Look for humor that is polite, open to everyone, and meant to bring people together. Watch the timing. When you use humor, pick the right time to do it. Don't use it when things are very emotional or hot. Avoid sarcasm and mockery. Don't use humor that could be seen as sarcastic, rude, or insulting. Take the conflict seriously and laughter at the same time. Laughter can help, but it's important to take the conflict seriously and with respect. Practical advice on how to use humor to solve problems. Start with self-deprecating humor. Making fun of yourself in a light-hearted way can make people feel better without upsetting them. Use humor to change the subject. A good joke can help move the conversation from the argument to a more positive one. Encourage laughter. If it's okay, try to find ways for everyone in the group to laugh together. Laughter can bring people together. Know when to say sorry. If your joke doesn't work or is misunderstood, say sorry right away and make sure everyone understands what you meant. Active listening is something you should practice. To show that you are interested and caring, use fun along with active listening. Some examples and case studies. Example 1. A disagreement at work where humor was used to break the ice and start a more useful talk. Example 2. A family argument where making fun of oneself helped ease the stress and bring everyone closer together. Example 3. A negotiation situation in which humor was used to build trust and make sure that everyone got what they wanted. When used correctly, humor is a strong tool that can help people work out their differences. It takes being sensitive, knowing about other cultures, and having a good grasp on how the conflict works. People can make a more positive and cooperative environment by using humor in their conflict resolution strategies. This makes it easier to find answers that work for everyone. This book gives you an introduction to using humor to solve problems in a healthy way. It gives you ideas and useful advice for handling disagreements in a fun and healthy way. Number 7. Establish boundaries. Setting limits is important for keeping relationships healthy, taking care of your own health, and encouraging respect between people. Boundaries help people protect their emotional, mental, and physical space and make sure everyone knows what is expected of them. Here are some tips to help you set and understand boundaries. Get to know your limits. Figure out what makes you unhappy and where you need to set limits. Being aware of yourself is the first thing that you need to do to set good limits. Communicate clearly. To set limits, use wording that is both assertive and polite. Be clear about what you want and what you expect. Be consistent. Setting limits in the same way every time helps others understand and accept them. It keeps you from getting lost and makes your limits clear. Accept the boundaries of others. Just as you set limits for yourself, it's important to understand and accept the limits of others. Respecting each other like this makes relationships healthy. Stay firm. Don't give in to pressure to break your rules. Even if it makes other people feel bad, you should stand by them. Take care of yourself. Setting limits is a form of self-care. It makes sure that your relationships put your health first. Deal with pushback respectfully. Some people may test your limits. Be cool when you answer and stand firm without getting angry. Check and change. As times and relationships change, you may need to check and change your limits over time. Get help if you need it. If setting limits feels hard, you might want to talk to a trusted friend, counselor, or therapist about it. Be patient. Setting limits can take some time, especially if other people aren't used to them. During this time, be patient with yourself and other people. Number 8. Master the art of compromise. Finding a middle ground is an important skill for both personal and business situations. It means finding a place where everyone can agree and making sure that everyone feels valued and honored. To master the art of balance, you need to be patient, understand others, and communicate clearly. It can help people get along better, make better decisions, and live in a more peaceful place. Understand the importance of agreement. Understand that agreement is not about winning or losing, but about finding a way for everyone to win. Active listening means paying close attention to what other people want, need, and are worried about. This helps you see things from their point of view. Find common goals. Pay attention to what everyone wants to achieve. It's easier to come to an agreement when everyone has the same goals. Keep an open mind. Be ready to see things from different points of view and consider other options that you may not have thought of at first. Make your message clear. Be honest and polite when you say what you think and feel, and make sure that everyone gets your point of view. Be patient. Finding a middle ground often takes time and talk. To make sure that everyone's voice is heard, don't rush the process. Know your limits. Know what you can't give up and what you are ready to compromise on. This helps set limits and find an answer that works for everyone. Look for win-win solutions. You should try to find solutions where everyone feels like they've won something, which will help you build good relationships. Develop empathy by trying to understand how other people feel and why they think the way they do. This can help people come to more considerate and useful agreements. Stay open-minded. Be ready to change your mind as the conversation goes on, showing that you are ready to accept new information or points of view. Learning how to compromise is a useful skill that helps people work together, avoid arguments, and find answers that everyone can agree on. Number 9. Seek external aid without shame. Asking for help from others is an important skill for both personal and business growth. It means asking other people for help, advice, or tools to get things done or deal with problems. Many people don't ask for help because they are embarrassed, afraid of being judged, or think they aren't good enough. Accepting outside help without feeling bad about it can help you solve problems, learn, and be more successful overall. Understand how important outside help is. Diverse points of view. Getting help from outside sources can give you new ideas and perspectives that you might not have thought of before. Expertise means having access to specific information or skills that you may not have. Efficiency. Getting help can make it easier and faster to solve problems. Get past the stigma. Viewing asking for help as a strength instead of a weakness has changed my point of view. Make it common. A lot of great people and groups actively look for outside help. Boost your confidence. Being open means making it a habit to ask for help when you need it. Learn from your mistakes. Every time you ask for help, you become stronger and more confident. Build relationships. Networking. Asking for help can help you make business and personal connections that are stronger. Mutual support. Helping others in return makes relationships stronger and creates a community where everyone can count on each other. Real-world methods. Identify your needs. Make it clear what kind of help you need. Pick the correct sources. Find experts or people who have knowledge in this area. Make your message clear. Be clear about what you need help with and how other people can do that. Think and change. Evaluate outcomes. Think about how the outside help has affected your growth or ability to solve problems. Adapt strategies. Learn from comments and results to improve how you ask for help in the future. By agreeing with these points, you can successfully ask for outside help without feeling embarrassed, which will help you grow as a person and in your career. Number 10. Forgiveness. Letting go of anger and bitterness towards someone who has hurt us is a deep and life-changing part of forgiving them. It's a complicated emotional and mental trip that can have a big effect on our mental health and relationships with other people. Forgiving others isn't the only thing that forgiveness is about. It's also about freeing yourself from the weight of bad feelings. This lesson will go into detail about what forgiveness is, why it's important, what stops people from forgiving, and how we can practice it in our daily lives. How to understand forgiveness. Definition of forgiveness. Forgiveness is choosing not to be angry, resentful, or revengeful towards someone who has hurt you. You have to choose to let go of your anger and move on from the hurt. Different ways to forgive. Forgiveness that is conditional is given when certain conditions are met, like saying sorry or paying back what was owed. Forgiveness that is freely given without any conditions being met is called unconditional forgiveness. Differences between forgiveness and peace. Forgiveness is letting go of bad feelings, while peace is fixing a relationship and building trust again. The good things about forgiving: emotional healing. Letting go of grudges can help you feel less stressed, anxious, and depressed by easing the emotional burden of hanging on to them. Better relationships. Letting go of hurts from the past can help people have stronger, better relationships with others. Health. Studies show that forgiving others is linked to better heart health, lower blood pressure, and a stronger immune system. Increased compassion and empathy. Forgiving someone can help you understand how they feel and become more empathetic. Why it's hard to forgive: fear of vulnerability. Some people worry that forgiving someone will make them look weak or open to harm in the future. Perceived injustice. If someone thinks that forgiving someone means acknowledging or excusing their wrongdoing, it can make them less ready to forgive. Lack of understanding. Resistance can happen when people think that forgiving someone means forgetting or ignoring what they did wrong. Emotional attachment. Holding on to anger and resentment can help you feel emotionally linked to the person or situation. How to get better at forgiving. Take note of the pain. Accept the pain that the crime has caused. It's important to understand and talk about this pain in order to move on. Think about the effects. Think about how hanging on to anger impacts your own health and the way your relationships work. Empathize with the offender. Try to picture yourself in the offender's shoes and understand why they did what they did. This can help change your point of view and make you more compassionate. Communicate openly. If you can, talk to the person who hurt you in an open and honest way. Tell them how you feel and listen to what they have to say. Choose to forgive. You can choose to forgive. Choose to let go of the bad feelings and make a promise to move on without hanging on to anger. Ask for help. If you feel like the process is too much to handle, you might want to get help from a counselor or therapist to help you through the process of forgiving. Forgiving yourself for mistakes you've made in the past is just as important. Accept any blame or remorse you feel and try to make things right if you can. Having trouble forgiving: forgiveness and fair play. It can be hard to find a balance between forgiving someone and wanting them to be held responsible or accountable. To forgive someone, you should find a way to talk about what they did wrong. Forgiveness in long-term relationships. It takes constant work and talk to forgive someone in a long-term partnership. It could mean putting limits to stop harm from happening again. Forgiving and growing as a person. Forgiving someone often needs you to look inside yourself and grow as a person. It's possible for this to be both fun and hard. Forgiving someone is a strong way to heal your emotions and relationships. Even though it can be hard and takes work, forgiving someone is well worth it because it can lead to better mental health, better relationships, and personal growth. People can feel a deep sense of release and change in their lives by knowing what forgiveness is all about, recognizing the things that get in the way, and taking practical steps to embrace it. There are 10 ways to defeat your enemy without fighting. These aren't just tricks for winning, they're also lessons in tolerance and inner strength. Remember that true strength doesn't lie in being able to beat or win battles. It lies in being able to turn enemies into friends, conflicts into peace, and find serenity within. Focus on kindness, wisdom, and peace, so that you can live a life that's not only satisfying but also spreads peace. Finally, let the Stoic principles help you face all problems and difficulties with a steady soul and an open heart. By following these steps, you will not only beat your enemies, but you will also build a life full of meaning and love. Let us walk this path together to make the world a better place where understanding and compassion are common. Please leave a comment if you liked the video and a comment if you didn't, so we can quickly make the content better and more high quality. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help spread this philosophy. You can see more Stoic lessons at the end of this video. Together, we can make the world a better place.